Hello all, and my name is Joseph,
My name's Angelo.
and we are from the Northern Sydney Institute, a part of the TAFE New South Wales. We are here today to demonstrate something with a product called choux pastry, which is the base of éclairs or profiteroles to make croquembouches. I'm going to start off cooking equal parts, which is 125 grams of milk, 125 grams of water, a pinch of salt, a pinch of sugar, and 100 grams of unsalted butter. You could use salted butter and just forget about the salt. That's not a thing. Cut the butter in small dices. It all goes into a pan and it's basically coming to a boil. This is a very important part of cooking a choux pastry, where this helps to gelatinize the starch. Okay. So once this mix comes to a boil, what tends to happen is it leaves the sides of your pan. So once the panade has been cooked, it sort of looks a bit like a sort of a gluggy, gluey mass. Now what we're going to do to this is we're going to be adding some eggs into this. It's also important to wait till the temperature of this panade drops below 60 degrees, because that's when eggs start to coagulate.
And so we're going to add the eggs gradually and make it into a very smooth paste.
So once all the eggs are incorporated, so there are 4 whole eggs, approximately 55 gram eggs, which is a standard egg that we get in Australia in the markets. And you'd land up with a sloppy sort of a paste. So it just sort of plonks off the... Okay, now what we have done is we have pre-filled a bag with a plain tube. I'm not using any star shape, because we just want to land up with something perfect and round. And we're going to pipe a few different shapes. Now again, when you're using a tray, if a tray is very new, I would recommend you to very lightly spray it. So you could use a spray from a supermarket, any sort of a canola oil spray. Just give it a bit of a wipe, because we don't want too much of oil on it. It tends to make the choux pastry slip away from and loses its shape. So hold the bag like that, like a cradle. Stop it and just give it a twist, so you don't have a long sort of a drag on your pastry. So when you pipe something like that, once it's baked, you will land up with a product that looks to that. So it's grown quite a decent amount, and that's very vital when you're making a good choux pastry. So what I'm doing here is I'm piping it a bit bigger, because we are trying to do a few different desserts with these. So for example, that will be something like that once baked. These choux pastries go in an oven at about 200 degrees Celsius, and it's important to use an oven that's not actually fan forced, because it tends to make the choux pastry go to a side. Again, if there is no choice and if that's the only oven you have, then I would recommend you to bake it at a bit of a lower temperature. So that's that. And then we're going to pipe some éclairs.
Once the pastry achieves a golden brown, it is only then that we open the oven door to check. If you open the oven door before, the pastry is going to collapse.
So with the éclair, once that is baked, that's the sort of the finished product. This, I have piped it a bit smaller, so definitely your éclair will be a bit thinner than what this is. This is quite a decent sized portion. And the one that I've piped a ring, you will end up with something like that. And this is what we refer is a very traditional French dish, which is called Paris-Brest. It's really, really very traditional and very nice. So I'm just going to pipe you. This is a very sort of a new age trend, where they pipe little beads and it looks like a chain. It looks quite interesting. You could do the same with small, for example. You can just pipe it like a mini sort of an éclair, but in the same format. So when you pipe it that way, you land up with something that looks like that. Again, as I say, it's quite interesting for a kid's birthday party or something. It looks a very nice shape. And so basically what we have done is choux pastry with different shapes, and that concludes our lesson on choux pastry.